you should have it at the back of your mind that there is no basis in law in terms of a structure, in terms of a framework that particularly regulates a boyfriend-girlfriend relationship. That is crucial to understand instead of.
Okay, so you can't hold him responsible or her responsible at any point in time or for anything
at all.
So it doesn't recognize the framework. Right. However, when there are issues within the framework that falls within the law,
then the person can immediately run to court. If in that same context of relationship, somebody gifts you an item, somebody gifts you an item.
Good.
So is it that in that relationship, the property that was given as a gift? So that if it was gifted, there's a legal structure to determine when gifts are properly or validly made.
Okay.
So you see, for us, when we see the situation, we are able to we are just distinting and just distilling the cases.
Yeah.
So we just don't take it on the face value. So that when you say he has made a promise or he has given me this or that, the question in our minds really is, first of all, did he make a promise? If he made a promise, was it an enforceable promise?
Yeah.
What qualifies as an enforceable promise? That will be determined. So before we go to the next question, I think it's important to also address this issue of promise. The girlfriend-boyfriend relationship.
Thank you.
Where now a promise is made. I need to make that
I'll marry you.
because you mentioned the promise because there is a legal framework to support what we call breach of promise to marry.
Thank you.
In other words, the man can sue the woman that you have breached your promise to marry me. And that action is maintainable at the court and redress can be given accordingly. So that has to be also mentioned in this particular discourse that we are having now. That the man, the woman, that the two of them that are in a boyfriend-girlfriend relationship.
Informal relationship.
That
has no label.
You have made a promise to me, and the promises that you have made, you've bought me a wedding ring or a promise ring, you've sent me a card, you bought me the Bible, you've taken me to your parents, you've showed me to your pastors, you have taken all the necessary steps where now I, the lady, or I, the man, all the other women that I would have potentially gone ahead to pursue because of that practical steps or promise that you have made or you have assured me on, I have bounced them.
You see how the work calculates this?
So then it's not just word, it's not just word.
No, there must be practical steps that would be determined or that would conclude that indeed the person actually made what? A promise to you.
See, if I think
Uh-huh.
that I am in a boyfriend-girlfriend relationship with Stanley, and Stanley has wronged me, and I want to take Stanley to court. I am the one supposed to go and prove that
there is something
going on between. I don't give that burden to the court.
Right. So the pros and the cons will depend on where you are coming from generally. But basically that is about prenup. And indeed, it has become a very trendy matter now. It's become a very trendy matter now because of people want to protect their properties. People want to protect their benefits, their enjoyment.
People don't trust.
And all of that.
Don't trust. The bottom line is people don't trust.
All of that comes together. Exactly.
I think people marry because they don't trust themselves.
Okay, people marry because they don't trust each other.
Yes.
Okay. No, I think
should remain boyfriend and girlfriend.
No, not necessarily. I think people change.
All right.
Honestly, I think people change. For instance, you can read a book today and the contents of the book is something you remember. Read it again in 10 days or a year. You see things that you didn't see before.
Right. It's true.
It's because you actually, it's not that the book changed. It's because you changed. You have added on to knowledge.
Right.
Or you've seen life in a different sense. So you're appreciating what the person or what the book said on another level altogether.
Right.
So generally people change when it comes to relationships.
Right.
The person that you married, for instance, you can clearly I've not been long-term kind of relationships, but people can start a relationship and probably over 6 months or 2 years down the line, you realize that you don't necessarily recognize the person you actually
met earlier.
So people generally change, and for that reason, it will be wise, knowing very well that it's possible that people change to protect yourself. Well, the question of prenup is not something I'm not so sure.
But the protection of yourself, if I think that protection of yourself is for the rich.
That's what I was going to I was going to come to that.
If you, the guy,
Man of straw.
I quite remember hearing the case of a broadcaster saying that he and the mom have a very bad relationship, and he thinks that relationship is irreparable,
right?
Because the father made known to the mom while growing up at a particular point in time when the man was not feeling too well, that he had this amount of property, and told the woman everything, and actually told how to go about all of that, and then the woman forced the man to sign, to move things into
her name.
Now that was not a will. This is more or less a prenup, but the man recovered. The man was sick, but he was now recovering at the time. The guy said that within 2 weeks of the man's recovery, the man died suddenly. Nobody.
God damn it.
People have tried again.
Why bring up prenup when you love the person?
Because I love you. That's why I bring it up.
Is it because you love yourself that you are bringing up a prenup?
No. So that's how come I came up with the distinction. With the story I just said, it seems like it's because of love the man actually made provision for the woman. Whether the woman stays in the marriage for a certain amount of time, or when the woman leaves the marriage, she still gets the worth that she's due. Do you understand? That's how come I was asking lawyer that we always have this negative connotation when you hear
prenups. Yes,
it's like, hey, like I'm going into this marriage and then I have to suffer with this man to get everything that I have to get. But there's also the other side where it's all love and it's all joy and I want to give to you.
I agree to the marriage thing. You have to get something
as part of the agreement that every year at least you take me to Maldives once, Bahamas twice.
Calm down.